理事长晚安，伟尊兄，有听到我声音吗？
有，很清楚，很清楚，谢谢。
好，谢谢，谢谢。
林教授好，你好，等下拜托。
晚安，
王先晚安，王先晚安。
多多晚安。
秘书不是有放音乐吗？怎么好像又没放？
请问这样可以听到我声音吗？
很清楚。
好，谢谢，谢谢。
谢谢。
陈教授好。
大家晚安。
陈教授，等一下那个要拜托你主持啊。
是，但
如果
等一下两位讲者都
有上来的话，就是先主持他的。如果立希尔后来连线有问题，我们就继续演讲，最后一起讨论这样。
是，
他有上线，我们就先。
OK， 他会参与讨论吗？
他有说会，但是
OK，
他就会上线这样。
好，是，
谢谢，感谢你，谢谢。
OK。
大家上线的时候，麻烦您先介绍一下3位专家哈。陈教授，陈教授听得到吗？
所以是我介绍3位语坛人是吧？
对，没错，因为你是主持人。
我看那个
，Moderator， 对，你是 Moderator， 对。
因为我看给我的那个直接是理事长就开始活动致辞，然后介绍讲者。
不是，语坛是最后面到讨论的时候由您主持。讨论的时候要拜托你介绍赵教授、林教授还有那个洪教授3位，然后再开始请大家轮流发言这样。
OK， 所以我也会问线上的人有没有问题嘛？哈。
对，就后面那段主持就全由你拜托帮忙，谢谢。感恩。
主委，那就开始喽。
请。Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Taiwan Healthcare Quality Association and ASQua joint webinar talking about the Medical Quality Library International Master Webinar Series number 45. Today, our topic is focused on leadership. So we will expert from the Canada and Taiwan to discuss the topic. Next slide, please. 下一张。I am Wei Chun Huang, as the chairman in the International Cooperative Committee in THQA. Next one. 下一张。Our Taiwan Healthcare Quality Association focus on our quality education in Taiwan. Next one. And your cooperation with the ASQua, Asian Society for Quality in Healthcare. So welcome to the webinar. 下一张。First, we will introduce our president, Taiwan Healthcare Quality Association, as also superintendent in Fuyin University Hospital. Let's welcome Professor Zheng Shaoyu. Professor Zheng, please.
Dear member of the Taiwan Healthcare Quality Association and all friends in the Asians, good night, everyone. I am a president of the Taiwan Healthcare Quality Association and also a superintendent Fuyin University Hospitals. Tonight, I am very happy to open that our international cooperations committees held a Quality International Master Webinar Conference. Although we are facing with the strong typhoon in Taiwan, the Professor Wang Wei-Chun, chairman of our International Cooperation Committees of Taiwan Healthcare Quality Association student, and Rudy is invited to excellent experts to bring us special lectures to driving force behind the highest quality healthcare leader and leaderships. We know that leadership is an important topic in any healthcare system or the institutes, even in the countries. Looking back at the histories, all wars in the past has been driven by the leadership. Today there are two wars happening in the world, and they too major stem from conflicts between two country leaders. Thus, for healthcare quality and patient safety to be smoothly and thus is implemented, stronger leadership is essential. We are very pleased that today the theme is about the leaderships in healthcare qualities, and we believe that it will bring us a new perspective to everyone. Let us welcome our speakers with a round of applause. I believe that our excellent experience, outstanding professionals will definitely give us a great help in promoting our healthcare qualities. Finally, I wish everyone a fulfilling harvest and good health, and enjoy the speech with discussion. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, our President Chen. So if you have any question, please use the Slido to leave your message at the Slido. So next one. Our sense the cooperation society, including the Joint Commission of Taiwan and the Taiwan Marketing Production Society. Next. China. Next. So first, I will introduce the superintendent in Kaohsiung Municipal Fengshan Hospital, Professor Lee Gender. Professor Lee, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce our first speaker, Ms. Leslee Thompson. Ms. Leslee Thompson is CEO of Health Standards Organization, HSO, and Accreditation Canada, AC. Under her leadership since 2016, HSO and AC teams have been growing their reach and impact, improving quality of care in over 12,500 locations across 40 countries and 5 continents. She served on the board of International Society for Quality Healthcare, ASQua, Canadian Foundation for Healthcare Improvement, Council for Academic Hospital of Ontario, Ontario Hospital Association, and high-profile corporate boards in retail and the senior living sector. Leslie is also an executive in residency at the Rodman School of Management, University of Toronto. She holds a nursing degree from Queen's University, Master of Science in Nursing from University of Toronto, MBA from Western University, and the ICD from the Institute of Corporate Directors. Leslie has received numerous awards and honors, including Aluminum Award from University of Toronto and the Queen's University, and was named one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women. Most recently, she received the prestigious Legacy of Leadership Award from Canada's National Healthcare Association. Congratulations on her great achievement. And this evening, she is going to give us a talk entitled with Quality 5.0. Are you ready? So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Leslee Thompson.
My name is Leslee Thompson. I am the CEO of Accreditation Canada and Health Standards Organizations, bringing you greetings from where I currently am here today in Canada. It gives me great pleasure to join all of you at this fantastic quality conference that really, I hope I can add to your thinking, your ideas, and your inspiration for action to advance quality to the next level. Thinking about the future of quality is what we're going to speak to today. Allow me to share my screen and let's get started. I believe the future of health and the future of quality is people-powered. If you look closely at this slide, you will see an image in the middle of an individual, and her name is Heather. Heather is a patient surveyor with Accreditation Canada, and she was part of a survey team for the assessment of a large academic health science center in Canada. And during the survey, she actually got sick and had to leave, and the team all rallied together, figured out how could they still ensure that her voice was heard even in a remote way. So they beamed her into the iPad, had her join part of the team, and the survey continued where her voice and her perspective of quality from a people and patient perspective was infused into the overall quality process. I love this story because it really brings together the power of people coming together with ingenious ideas and problem solving together to figure out how they can learn from each other, make things better for everyone, and really actually zero in on one of the most important fundamentals with the future of quality, which is leaving no one behind and making it personal. The future of quality, when we think about people power, is really about thinking about how the great big challenges that are facing us overall in the world are changing, and what do we need to do together to take quality and safety to the next level. So what does this look like? Well, we've been through many waves of change in all of our systems around the world. And I know as the CEO of Accreditation Canada, working in over 12,000 locations in 50 countries around the world, that we see trends and common challenges that people are facing. And the waves of change over the years for all of us have actually mirrored, the waves of change in quality have mirrored waves of change in society. So there's actually a whole process of what we are called industrial revolutions throughout time that brought in big, massive changes to society and the world. The agricultural revolution brought in new ways of planning and delivering quality services. The automation era and the focus on production of cars and the industry revolution really ushered in the use of quality management tools we know today of lean methodology and fishbone diagrams and all of that. The era of the digital age, which is Industry 4.0, which we're in today, has really ushered in the whole era of shift and change for transformation of the world through the use of automation, digital technology that is fundamentally changes how we are getting things done, how we measure and report, and how we see and approach problem solving and transformation agenda of the health system. At the most recent World Economic Forum, the speakers brought in the idea of Industry 5.0 and saying now this time is actually upon us now. What is Industry 5.0? Well, it is the era of personalization, and it is the era of where corporations and organizations needing to think beyond their own individual responsibility and contributing to the broader social good and society at large. This kind of orientation is, you can see it shifting and changing the way in which we work together as various societies and the globe, as well as in our own countries and jurisdictions. I love this focus on personalization in the future of societal change and thinking about that from a quality lens, because it actually fits so well with what we've been talking about in healthcare for a very long time. And making healthcare personal, thinking about quality and the personalization, what is the impact of what we do on the lives of the people that we serve, I think is a brilliant lens for all of us that takes us beyond what we think of as the quintuple aim as the objective framework for quality. And let me build that out for you. But first, before we start in the framework overall of Quality 5.0, you have to start with your why. Know your purpose, because that grounds you no matter what you do. And for us at HSO and Accreditation Canada, our core purpose is to empower and enable people around the world to continuously improve quality of care. And our vision is for safer care, moving from the current state to safer care in the fullest of its meaning: physical safety, cultural safety, and psychological safety. And also with a vision that we contribute to the broader social good, and that the focus that we have contributes to a healthier world around us. That vision for the future was shaped with so many voices from around the world, and I know it resonates with so many, including those folks that I've met over in Taiwan as well. I believe that you share many of the same ideas and aspirations for making the future safer and healthier for all. So when we then when I've talked with healthcare leaders, policymakers, patients, providers right around the world from all sectors, and again, we work in 5 continents and over 12,000 locations, what are some of the big themes of the problems that our quality systems and services need to solve? Well, there's a theme of about 5 big calls to action that I see, and I will walk you through each of these that help make up a framework for the future of quality. Let's go and look at how we can mobilize ourselves toward those. What is it going to take? What shifts are required? And then what does success look like? So let's go into the 5. The first big challenge in the world that is front and center in all societies and in all jurisdictions is the challenge of inequity, which was exposed so much during COVID. And in order for us to think about addressing equity, we need to think addressing inequity. We need to think about how are we fostering and supporting the health of communities. And in improving equity is about improving access to quality healthcare services, not just healthcare services, and thinking about how do we involve and engage people from all walks of life as co-producers of the future of what does success and care look like in their local context and in their local community. You cannot address inequity from a pedestal and saying, I'm going to make things more equal for you. You need to involve and engage and learn how what priorities need to be addressed by involving and engaging communities. And at HSO and Accreditation Canada, we actually have spent the past 3.5 years working very closely with Indigenous populations and involving and engaging them in the development of new standards that address squarely the issues of equity, racism, discrimination, and access to services in some new and different ways. And it's amazing that what happens when you start down this path of participation of communities, neighborhoods, and others in coming up with solutions to address some of the most pressing problems. And typically you end up with ideas that are not what we as providers would have thought was the right thing to do initially. So addressing inequity and fostering healthy communities is kind of one of the top global challenges and priorities for addressing quality. The second is addressing the climate crisis. And for this what we want to do is foster planetary health. And we know that there are huge health consequences to the climate crisis, and that it does not affect everybody equally. And in fact, many populations, and in Canada, we have a lot of very remote and rural locations, and populations that are underserved in their healthcare services have even more challenges in terms of the consequences they experience from floods, fires, and other major climate events, to the actual ability to access services, and for the ability of the healthcare workforce to actually get and address the care in their communities as well. So the climate crisis has a whole variety of consequences, and hospitals are some of the huge disproportionate contributors to the problems and challenges in the climate crisis. And we know that there will be, the WHO says, over the next 5 years, there will be over 5 million deaths directly result of climate crisis and climate change. And so we need to be taking steps to think about this from a quality lens. Everything from what is the language in our standards, what is being assessed in terms of the support of systems that have a responsibility and accountability for building resilient healthcare systems for the future that ensure healthy communities and planetary health for all. I mentioned the impact of climate crisis on workforce well-being, and the issues of equity also have influence on the workforce crisis. I think as we went through COVID, never have we experienced probably as much pressure and challenge for the workforce globally. People are tired. People are stressed, and we know we need to hear from the workforce directly in order to put the right programs and services in place that focus on the well-being. There is no quality without a healthy and competent workforce. So addressing the workforce crisis from availability to the quality of work life is central to the quality agenda going forward. Just a little bit of data that I could share with you from a global workforce survey that we use with all of our clients as part of our Cumentum program. And this survey brings together the insights and voice of staff for what they experience in terms of their overall wellness, as well as the patient safety culture. And so what we wanted to do was understand and hear what are the big challenges that people are experiencing, so that the interventions can be tailored to addressing those and going to improve quality overall. These themes, if I was with you in person, I would be saying, okay, how many of you see similarities in the work environments that you are in? For high burnout, not enough time to do what's expected in your job, people saying, I have a lack of positive recognition, trust as an issue with senior management and executives. And if the work environment doesn't feel safe, that influences the safety culture and the consequential actions in terms of adverse events and other safety outcomes. And so from the first 10,000 that were in this particular study, these are the themes that we heard. I wanted to pull out one in particular, which was around the views of senior leadership and senior management being trusted, because a lot of us here today are in those senior leadership roles. And what you can see from the data, and would really welcome some folks from within Taiwan to also do this survey to see how it compares with Canadian and other organizations. Are the themes similar? What this points to is the longer you've been with an organization, the less trust that there is in management and leadership, and also looking at, well, which job categories is trust most affected by. And so frontline nurses have the highest rating of believing that senior management cannot be trusted. And when you think around the shortages of nurses and how that affects our ability to deliver quality, this is an issue that needs to be tackled directly. And again, there is no quality without a healthy and competent workforce. So let's get some data. Let's share that, generate the insights, and looking at safety culture and workforce wellness together. All of these themes that we've addressed thus far also contribute to some of the challenges related to fragmentation of care. And when looking around the world, there are some very big agendas at various countries around addressing fragmentation front on and focusing on integrating care and thinking about populations. I was impressed when I was last in Taiwan about the thinking around the seniors and their experience overall in the community, in the hospital, in long-term care homes. But if you think about the experience of an individual, a senior, or someone living with mental health and addictions challenges, we need to understand the system through their eyes, through their lens. What are the biggest challenges that they are experiencing to build a people-centered integrated health system? And we cannot do that without the involvement and engagement of folks who are actually experiencing that care. So at HSO, we've actually got the world's first people-centered integrated health services standard, which sets out 10 design principles and 66 criteria of what does a mature integrated health system look like, what are all the elements that need to be in place, and then helping people see how can I progress through that almost maturity at a system level to decrease the fragmentation, strengthen transitions in care, which is one of our top safety issues right now, and foster a better experience for patients and families as they experience care across the continuum. The final priority is related to the avoidable harm. And decreasing avoidable harm is a universal imperative. The Global Patient Safety Action Plan helps put safety first on the agenda for all of us. And in fact, we know that post-COVID, it's been really challenging for people who are, where we have data that points to increasing rates of harm, not decreasing post-COVID. And so when you think that we were already at 1 in 17 hospital visits results in avoidable harm incidents, this is a huge concern. So understanding harm also from a physical safety, psychological safety, cultural safety perspective, harm takes on a broader meaning, and that's got to be part of our assessment. We've got the kind of primary and secondary experience of harm, and the big work together is to ensure that the kind of data that we're collecting is also helping us connect all the dots of if this condition exists within an organization or within a system, how does that then impact quality and outcomes of care? That is where harm happens with the individual. And if we think about people first and the personalization of care with the quality agenda, we really are needing to look at this going one by one to understand the personal impact of harm on individuals and families and communities. So improving outcomes to address harm is a distinct part of the quality agenda of the future. And this needs to be looked at from individual organization level, from also regional and network level, where you're putting together all the parts of the system. And then also looking at improving outcomes and addressing each of the 5 big challenges I met from a health system perspective. How do we connect all the dots? What are the different ways that workforce crisis, climate crisis, the inequity, fragmented care, and safety, avoidable harm, how do all of those intersect? That is going to influence your agenda for quality going forward. And so it's thinking about this in some broader perspective, which is essential, and at multiple levels simultaneously. So what does leadership in this Quality 5.0 era look like? Well, there are some shifts that need to happen. The first is from silos to systems. So rather than always looking and having our agendas for change within each of the individual parts, what we want to do is think about systems and thinking about how they're connected together. It's actually about connecting silos, not just breaking down silos, in order to think about the future from a systems perspective. Essential shift if we're going to address those big macro societal issues. The other one in thinking about how do we get at these is moving from the focus on places and buildings to populations. You get to a different agenda for when you start to think about going from places to populations. So example, the thinking about people living with mental health and addictions, you're going to, across the life cycle and across the continuum of care, you're going to get to a different view of quality and what success looks like than if you focus only within the walls of a hospital that might have a mental health unit or a particular crisis center on their own. So think about places to populations. The third shift that's required is moving from the focus on technology as the end all and the be all, which is where we are with the digital age. Everybody's bringing in lots of technology to improve efficiency and effectiveness of care. But we need to put that lens of so what value is it creating and how do we ensure that it's an enabler of transformation? And part of that transformation is not just about the spend and the cost of care that results with all the various changes that need to be part of the transformation agenda, but thinking and asking ourselves the question, what value does this create for individuals, for networks, for organizations, for society overall, and taking that value lens. Value-based care is the future-oriented view of quality. And finally, shifting from the focus of the very traditional healthcare service delivery. It's essential, necessary to have high quality within that, but thinking the future of quality is on the personal side is about health. So we think about the health and well-being of individuals, not only about what providers do in providing healthcare services. And this leads us to look at the social determinants of health. It looks at housing. It looks at the what are the food security, other elements that influence the reasons for why people come into our healthcare institutions. And if we can address those issues, that orientation to quality will help build a new future. So what does that future look like? Well, in the way forward, Quality 5.0, I see some new outcomes that we need to be measuring and monitoring that can be achieved through this focus of the future-oriented focus for Quality 5.0. The first outcome is increased social participation. So there's more co-creation, more collaboration, more engagement, not only as a patient and family advisor, but actually taking engagement to a whole new level of engaging communities and neighborhoods and others. The WHO social or the Declaration on Social Participation is a phenomenal a step forward and in bringing together all the best ideas around how do you build social participation into the overall agenda for societal change. I believe it's a big pillar for the future of quality and how do we get at some of the problems that we have not yet been able to solve by involving and engaging people in new and different ways and measuring that social participation as an outcome that is energizing the system and helping to move it forward. Second is the outcome of resilience and the impact of addressing the health workforce crisis as an example. So not thinking only about do I fill more spots of where I'm short of staff and increase training programs, but how do we build a workforce and the conditions that enable individuals to thrive and grow and be resilient for being able to handle the inevitable consequences that will come our way. It's not whether there will be another COVID or whether there'll be another major kind of event like that. It's when. And unless we are building the systems and supports and focusing on the people to be ready with those supporting conditions, we will not have the kind of resilience that's necessary to face the challenges of the future. Sustainability is about thinking over the long term. It's about planning for the strengthening and of our health systems in very strong and effective ways. And so that over the long term, we're strong and vibrant and able to be there for the generations of the future. Trust is an outcome that is, to me, central to the quality agenda and ways, how do we measure that? How do we nurture it? And how do we address head on the trust, the transparency, the misinformation, all of these kinds of things that are that influence the behaviors of individuals that address their health. So trust needs to be central in building it and supporting it in the quality agenda of the future. With a focus on prosperity, that's about helping ensure that everybody thrives. And so it's more than affordability of the system. It's more than just the pure economics. It's economics for social good. It's building systems and thinking about quality of how are we supporting the overall prosperity of our ecosystem and people in the populations that we serve. And then learning at every step along the way. And that's the characteristics of a learning health system that would be visible and vibrant within a future-oriented quality agenda. So those are the outcomes for Quality 5.0, and they all take new types of leadership and the people power from all of us thinking about our roles to address this broader agenda. When I was listening to Don Berwick not too long ago, I was, he's talked about the huge pressures that everybody is feeling and that we are all suffering from like just so many to-dos and big macro problems that sometimes it doesn't feel like we really are able to address those on our own. But he says as leaders, we do not get a pass on addressing these big issues of the future. And so, the quality agenda, if it's oriented to what are the big problems that we need to solve, making people central to that agenda and personalizing it for human-centric, equitable, sustainable, resilient, high-trusted care in that we will be able to make progress in a way that we simply haven't been able to do before. And it all comes through those new leadership styles and approaches that will enable this to happen. So my question for you today is, when you think about the future of quality, the future dimensions of quality, the big problems that we are here to solve, and ensuring our quality agenda is lined up toward some of those bigger future-oriented issues, and knowing what it's going to take in the shifts and thinking about what outcomes it needs to achieve, my question to you is, the future of quality, Quality 5.0, are you ready? I know that there are days that I do not feel ready to be able to handle all of the challenges ahead. But every time I meet with leaders around the world, patients, families, healthcare leaders, I get more and more excited about what the possibilities are to make a difference. And I see and seize the responsibility as an individual to take my role, and my challenge for all of you is yours as well, to forge ahead to the people-powered future of quality. And I look forward to talking with you soon about what you think, what else needs to be in place to support your readiness, and so we can think about the future of quality together. All the best.
Okay, we thank Leslie's very inspiring, visionary, and forward-looking lectures. And I think that here in Taiwan, we are facing similar problems. So just like you mentioned, and actually Taiwan is preparing for Quality 5.0. So before we move into discussion section, would you say something to our online participants? Thank you.
Hello, it's Leslie. I'm here live, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone joining today. I am just so thrilled to have the opportunity to connect with you, and to reconnect with some colleagues from Taiwan, and look forward to our discussion.
Thank you. So here you can see it's the certificate of appreciation for your nice talk this evening. Okay, so thank you. We move to the discussion section that will be chaired by Dr. Chen. So please.
Okay, thank you for Executive Ms. Leslie's speech. It's very informative for our audience. And I'm Shi-Yin Chen, an emergency doctor of National Taiwan University Hospital, and I am honored to moderate tonight's webinar conference, especially in such a typhoon night. Tonight we have 3 discussants. All of them are experts in healthcare quality and hospital management. Let me introduce our discussant. The first discussant is Dr. Ting-Xin Zhao. He is a cardiologist and also the Deputy Superintendent of Zhongshan Medical University Hospital. And the second discussant is Dr. Zhongxian Lin. He is also a cardiologist and the Deputy Superintendent of Kaohsiung Medical University Zhonghe Memorial Hospital. And the third discussant is Dr. Guan Yuhong. He is a nephrologist and currently the Executive Vice President of the Taipei Medical University. So first, may I ask if I would like to ask, is there any questions from all our audience online for Ms. Leslie Thompson? Yeah. Okay. As Ms. Leslie Thompson mentioned, are we ready to make such changes to cope with the challenges bring from the Quality 5.0 wave? Especially now especially in Taiwan, we are facing global climate change crisis, shortage of the workforces, for example, nursing staff, and more complex and fragmented work process, and many other problems. I know there is no easy way or simple question, simple answers for these big issues. But I would like to ask Dr. Zhongxian Lin his comment for your experience as a deputy superintendent of a medical center hospital. What are the most important strategies that you will recommend or you will take for our audience if he or she lead a hospital to cope all these problems in facing the wave of the Quality 5.5?
Yes, thank you, Professor Chen's question. I think you mentioned about climate crisis and the workforce crisis. I think these two issues are very important issue in Taiwan, especially we're facing some experts shortage, such as nurse, pharmacist, and psychologist. We are facing some workforce crisis. So first, I think we should have a cultural good environment, and maybe try to encourage their promotion. I think salary maybe is also a very important issue, and try to encourage their education, receive more education, have more knowledgeable to cope with their daily work. And especially another issue for the climate crisis. I think for CEO in the hospital is a very difficult issue to facing this climate crisis, because in the hospital the reuse item is limited, is allowed, and we use more electrical power to take care of our patient. So we should share the social responsibility to face the climate crisis. So maybe we should have some try to use some recycling, such as we will recycle some medical device, and we may try to put them into the usable items, such as elastic bag, and try to under take care of the patient safety. We can try to reuse and some medical equipment. I think try to find the more way to reduce the waste and we can have more brainstorm and try to cope with the industry. Our friend maybe can reduce the risk of climate crisis. I think we are learning this issue. I think the climate crisis is a very important issue, although in the hospital is a very difficult problem, and we will continue to work on it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for Dr. Lin. And then I have one question for Ms. Leslie. I think especially in our hospital, we are facing one dilemma in the ESG. For example, because in hospital we are responsible for patient safety, but also we are asked by our government to reduce the electricity energy consumption in hospital. But sometimes it's challenge is difficult because it is hard to reduce the energy consumption in either air condition or the light or in the operating room. So how can we balance between the ESG issues and the patient safety? Do you have any comment for us?
Yes, thank you. And I think the first is recognizing the importance of leaders to address this challenge as you described. Individual hospitals and leaders cannot do this completely on their own. And that's why the role of standards and accreditation bodies as well, like the Joint Commission of Taiwan, like Accreditation Canada, one of the responsibilities that we have in supporting you in these efforts is to have clear standards that are specific around what the expectations are for upholding standards related to environmental sustainability, as an example, and making sure that as those standards are introduced and specified, that there is that discussion with government and policymakers around some common goals to work toward. Because we do hear this from organizations that feel sometimes if the standards are too hard to achieve, then there's two things. One, it's around what do we put in place to help build and support people's progress toward those goals, or also looking at what government and what others do to contribute to the success as well. The importance, first and foremost, is the duty of care to the patients for safety, as you described, and building the capacity and capability of people and the facilities in the organizations over time to be able to meet the new important standards for environmental sustainability. We embed those right in our programs now and provide tools and resources for people to be able to meet those, and speaking and understanding with people around where those potential trade-offs are. We need to understand those and help support people through that process, because it's an and, it's not an either or of how we move ahead.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Because of the time limit, I think I have to thank Ms. Leslie again, and we actually learned much from his speech and his comment. Maybe we need to move to the next section, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we will introduce the moderator with Li Shangang Professor. Is the director of Taichung Metro Harbor Hospital. Let's welcome Professor Li, please.
Yes, I'm Dr. Li. I'm former president of the Taiwan Healthcare Quality Association, and I'm a consultant in Taichung Metro Hospital now. And it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our next speaker, and Dr. Hung-Jung Lin. And Dr. Lin is graduate from College of Medicine, Taipei Medical University, and also Master Department of Business Administration in National Cheng Kung University. And he was president of Taiwan Society of Emergency Medicine and as Chief of Emergency Medicine in Chime Medical Center and Secretary of Medical Affairs, Medical Deputy Superintendent, and also Chief Medical Superintendent in Chime Medical Hospital and Medical Center. And now he is the Superintendent of Chime Medical Center. And also he is the leading of one of the best medical centers in south part of Taiwan. And the topic is going to give us is the leading transformation for the hospitals without walls. Now let's welcome Dr. Lin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hung-Jung Lin, the Superintendent of Chime Medical Center, my hospital located in southern Taiwan. The topic I'm going to share is leading transformation for the hospital without walls. It is the story about the geriatric emergency team of Chime Medical Center. While facing the challenges of the aging society, we established a geriatric team led by the emergency physician and transformed our service model to outreach to the community. We adopted an IT system solution to improve our workflow and make referrals for ED transitional care. We even conducted home health care for those who had high risk of deterioration or revisit. It is a big shift from the traditional model of emergency medicine. I'm going to use the model of change management to discuss how we transform the mindset and the service model to become an excellent team, and we were awarded a big prize. On this slide, we can see as our global population is getting older, the pressure on healthcare system continues to grow, and Taiwan is no exception. By 2025, it is projected that 20% of Taiwan's population will be aged 65 or older, up from 14.6% in 2018. The rapid increase presents significant challenges, especially in how we care for elderly population, particularly those with chronic conditions after they leave the emergency department. On this slide, we can see the healthcare costs for elderly are rapidly increasing. It was estimated that 16.9% of the insured population are above 65 years old, and the elderly spend 41% of total medical expenses. And the emergency department, or ED, is often a critical point of the healthcare journey. Many elderly patients with chronic health issues arrive at the ED for acute treatment, but after being discharged, they face difficulties accessing continual care. This can lead to further complications and the repeated ED visit, even hospitalizations. To conquer the challenge, we established a division of geriatric emergency medicine, and we begin our journey. To transform our team, we adopted Coulter's 8-step model of change management, as you can see from the figure, and there are 3 components and 8 steps. The first component is create climate for change. 3 steps were create sense of urgency, build a coalition, and create a vision. The first step of Coulter's model is to create sense of urgency. We often discuss such a case with our residents to induce the sense of urgency to change, a story that unfolds every day in the ED. For example, an 82-year-old grandfather who had frequent falls. He felt dizzy and weak in recent days. Today, he fell again and was sent to our emergency department. His temper became very irritable, but doctors say there is nothing wrong after a series of lab tests and x-rays. So the grandfather was sent home. Is that sound familiar? Yes. There is the story that is repeated every day in our ED. So we must find out the root cause and treat in the right ways. The underlying conditions may induce frailty, sarcopenia, polypharmacy, and dementia. So the resolution lies in the arrangement of long-term care and the transitional care. And the second step of Coulter's model is to form a coalition. We are very lucky that we have Professor Huang. He was in our department, and he is an emergency physician, but also a geriatrician. And he is the first geriatric emergency medicine physician in Taiwan. He built a coalition with various departments and groups. The THQA Geriatric Emergency Team was the first dedicated team and still the only in Taiwan, and I believe we are the best. The third step of Coulter's model is to create a vision. Our vision is to provide one-stop solution and the continuity of care, which means our care will extend to patients' home after discharge. In Coulter's model, the second component is to engage and enable the organization. 3 steps were communicate the vision, enable others, and create quick wins. So the fourth step of Coulter's method is to communicate the vision. We held group interviews to understand the needs of the elderly and the expectation of the elderly people. The elderly give us many suggestions that we have never think about it. We discussed the vision, and they all supported our vision to provide one-stop solution and the continuity of care. The fifth step of Coulter's model is to empower others. We benchmark and learn from several excellent geriatric departments, such as National Cheng Kung University, Taipei Veterans Hospital, and the Kaohsiung Veterans Hospital. Our team underwent our learning journey in geriatric emergency medicine. We held regular general meetings and case conferences so we can be the best and advance knowledge from the world. The fifth step of the Coulter's model is to empower others. So we empower others through the learning journey. We extended our geriatric education program to the whole hospital for all the professionals in our hospital. And the consensus building meetings are regularly summoned to solve the conflicts. A multidisciplinary team was assembled to support the emergency department. It facilitated the dialogue between the emergency physician and the geriatricians, but also nurses and the pharmacists. So the care process was streamlined and the seamless care was provided. And the sixth step of Coulter's model is to create quick wins. We decided to solve the first problem. The first problem to conquer is the potential adverse effects induced by polypharmacy. The emergency physicians and the pharmacists formed a team and participated in the hospital quality campaign. The topic is to reduce the severe polypharmacy and the inappropriate medications in elderly patients. And this QCC project identified that more than 30% of geriatric hospital admissions involve severe polypharmacy. That means the patient receive more than 10 kinds of medication at the same time. Many of them had adverse events and cross reactions and potentially inappropriate medications use. These patients receive integration of medications to reduce the adverse events. This project could enhance the quality of care for elderly and was recognized by the National Healthcare Quality Award. Subsequently, we underwent the project of IT screening of delirium in the ED. We also won the Golden Medal Awards in the National Healthcare Quality Awards. We also built an AI prediction system for the prognosis of geriatric patients for pneumonia, flu, etc. This project brought many awards for our team. And the third component of Coulter's model is to implement and sustain. And 2 steps were included: build on the change and embed the change. So the seventh step of Coulter model is to build on the change. We incorporated IT systems into our HIS system for ED discharge and transitional care. The patients who had potential needs for transitional care or long-term care will be identified in the emergency department, and a dedicated transitional care nurses will provide evaluation and arrangements for these patients. It will reduce the rate of unexpected return to the ED. We also built an emergency team to conduct home medical care. So the emergency medicine practice will outreach to home medical care. Traditionally, home health care is initiated only after a patient has been hospitalized, leaving a gap for those who discharge from the ED. To addressing the change, THQA Medical Center implemented an innovative solution, a model that emergency physicians and the nurses will provide home care visits for those patients in need. This ensures that the elderly patient receive timely and appropriate care immediately after being discharged from the ED without needing to be hospitalized first. And the 8th step of the Coulter's model is to embed the change. So we pioneer the hospital at home model, and this model was conquered by the NHIA, which is National Healthcare Insurance Administration. The NHIA adopted our model and launched the project of hospital at home in July this year. Now we had registered 26 patients in this project, and the results were very good. Patients and the care team were both highly satisfied with the model of care. And our hospital at home model was also recognized by numerous national awards. Finally, the big prize is the National Excellence Healthcare Award, and our team was recognized as the Diamond Class in 2023. The Diamond Class means that the care we provided reached the level of the world class. We are so happy to have such an honor. In conclusion, we adopted the Coulter's model for change management and built an excellent service model, which was very different from previous emergency medicine model. We hope our experience will help others to pursue the transformation in care model.
Thank you, Dr. Lin, for your sharing with us one of the best medical practice in emergency department of the Chime Medical Center. And Dr. Lin already successfully transferred the experiences of the service of geriatric team in emergency medicine in Chime Medical Hospital to other hospitals in Taiwan. And that could decrease the length of stay of elderly in ER and also visits of ER in short time after discharge. I want to ask, is there any listener in the online have any question for Dr. Lin? I believe he will be glad to answer the question. Since there is no question, I will thank Dr. Lin again, and I will shift my moderate to Professor Chen Xin again.
Okay, thank you for Dr. Lee. Actually, we are very impressed that under the leadership of Superintendent Hung-Jung Lin, he effectively applied Carter's model to support and foster the emergency team to develop a new service model for elderly patients, not only in emergency, but also outreaching to the community after easy visits. So in Superintendent Lin's presentation, I noticed that a key contributor within the emergency team is Dr. Jianchen Huang. I know him for many years. He is very passionate, highly creative, and possesses outstanding skills in integration and communication across different departments. So he's very outstanding emergency doctor. First, I would like to ask Deputy Superintendent Ting-Xin Zhao here. In your experience, in your management, how do you identify individuals within your hospital or department who have such a leadership potential and the qualities, so you can trust him to develop a new healthcare models, and if such talent people is lacking, no, you can find anyone. How can a hospital cultivate, train, and motivate our staff to develop such kind of skill within your hospital? Please, may you give us some comments?
Okay, thank you, Chairman, for your excellent questions. I think the key to success in this program demonstrated here is all about the leadership. A strong driving force and unbeatable belief from the leader of the program. Besides, as the leader of the hospital, Superintendent Lin has the authority and can provide enough resources to accomplish it. I think it is also important. But how to identify a talent leader and support him or her? I have some points. First of all, as a leader, you have to know and let your colleagues to know what is good leadership, and you have to behave a good leader. Then your colleagues can take you as a role model and follow you. I think this is most important. I believe that some members in the team do have the potential to be a good leader. The most important things you need to do is to trigger and cultivate them. Okay, and the second one, you have to carefully and sensitively observe who has the potential in the daily life in the team. And third, you can assign a mission for him or her to lead a small team and observe how he or she can work. Then you can easily find out if he or she can be a good leader. And the fourth, you have to create a supportive environment and provide enough resources to let him grow up and show up his potential. Finally, sometimes you need to push and encourage him or her. This is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you for Dr. Zhao. And finally, may we have an overall comment from Vice President Dr. Hong Guanyu Hong on today's topic, leadership in hospital quality and management, please.
Thank you, Professor Chen Siying. Thank you for everyone, and good evening. And as we probably don't have enough time for discussion, I know that everyone have their opinions and their learning experience. So I would like to only have 2 points to comment. The number one is for I would like to thank Professor Thompson to address the new concept and very practical concept of quality, new definition for quality, and also give us a practical way or domain to approach the how to manage this issue, not only a concept, but a practical way to approach as well. So I have taken notes about that there are many different domains, or for example, the inequity issue, the climate issue, the workforce crisis, and the fragmentation, and to not only to break down the silos, but to connect. So I think that's a very good concept. So we will take this concept into our practice and management for our healthcare individuals and institutes to improve the healthcare efficiency and effectiveness. And the second point is that I would like to thank Superintendent Lin Hongrong for he's sharing that a real world case experience on the geriatric care. So that's a very practical issue of how to transform the concept from the Professor Thompson into the real what to do next to deliver the healthcare and to improve the value of the patients and their families for the geriatric ones. So I think that's a very good combination as a webinar. So I would like to thank the Taiwan's Healthcare Quality Association. They have such a good integration of the concept and the real case sharing that we can have a very good opportunity to have this learning journey. So I think that's very good. What we may, if we still have time, maybe next time we can to focus on the how to not to just deliver new concepts and new technology, but to transform and to update ourselves. For example, to have the lean process, the approach to the concept of less is more. So the concept not to just add on the barriers, but to solve the problems, to remove the obstacles, and to make us have more good efficiency and effectiveness. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you for Dr. Huang's comments. I think we have a very got new information from today's speakers and panelists, and I think is very helpful for all our in Taiwan to apply it in our within our hospital. I think because time is limited, I would close this section and ask Dr. Huang for the conclusion section. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chen. Thanks for your excellent arrangement, and thanks for Dr. Leslie and also Professor Hong's excellent talk in this evening. I think we have we talking about the leadership in this session. We welcome you to join our international webinar continues. So today we have a very fruitful night tonight. So hope you to join our international quality webinar in the future. Thanks for your participation. Thanks for especially tonight is Typhoon night in Taiwan. So wish you be safe in Taiwan in Taiwan, and thanks so much. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Okay.
Everyone, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.